For all of you gathered here at Eden Park tonight, I'm very, very sorry that I can't be with you in person, but please accept my apologies for that, and I hope this small video presentation will help fill the gap okay. Yachting has been much of my adult life, I guess. I've spent a lot of time at sea, and I've had some most amazing experiences during that time. The most memorable really would be the recent adventures on board the catamaran Enza in New Zealand in the Jules Verne Around the World in 80 Days record attempt. Very few rules apart from safety. There's a course that the boats have to go on, which starts from a line across the English Channel, goes down the Atlantic, turns left South Africa, across the Indian Ocean, keeping Australia to your left, past New Zealand, keeping New Zealand to your left, past South America, keeping South America on your left hand side, and of course Antarctica on your right, and all the way back up to the line that you started from in the English Channel, approximately 27,000 sea miles. And I guess it's like any race, any event where you're wanting to win at it, be it in the classroom or on the sporting field. The race doesn't start at the gun. The race starts when you decide to do it. As soon as you decide to do a race, or be it a marathon, a yachting event, whatever it may be, the decisions that you make in those very early times are all going to add up towards the win at the end. So the race is partly won before you even get on the track.
We'll need to get an anchor and the warp and the chain.
Okay, leads up.
Yes.
0.7 of a mile to rock.
If you can imagine, on this catamaran of ours, travelling at very high speed, hour after hour, day after day, real adrenaline pumping stuff. I mean, it gave us the most amazing, fantastic, marvellous sailing that you could possibly ever, in your wildest dreams, imagine. Just extraordinary stuff.
We're over.
Clock's running, 0 miles.
For 74 days, 22 hours, 17 minutes and 22 seconds, none of the crew getting more than 3.5 hours sleep at one time at all, ever. People losing weight, having to eat freeze-dried food, not washing for up to 50 days, no showers, sleeping in bunks which were banging and chattering and crushing and thumping along, going for days without sleep, nervous tension building up, just becoming more and more tired, mentally and physically, but wanting to win. I mean, it was a great adventure.
During her first night at sea, Enza skims for long bursts at 46 to 50 kilometres an hour with a top speed of 55. For the next 2 months, the fear of hitting something hard, something invisible at 50 k's just won't go away.
Quite a big sea we're going down at the moment. Oh! Very wet. My boats are absolutely full, just full up.
Into the Southern Ocean, past New Zealand, and then we're into iceberg country. The course, our race course, is littered by huge lumps of ice, sometimes approaching 140 to 150 metres high. Sometimes becalmed next to them, sometimes sailing past at a reasonable clip, always keeping a lookout. you get the contrasts again of Cape Horn. Seas approaching 18 to 20 metres high, just horrendous conditions when all the crew are really interested in is seeing the sun come up tomorrow.
Barometer is dropping like a stone. It's gone down 6 millibars in the last 2 hours. We expect to have a frontal system coming through fairly shortly.
After nearly a week of storms, finally Enza passes Cape Horn.
And then you go through the doldrums where there's very little breeze at times. Real knife edge stuff, and that, I guess, at the end of the day is why you do it. It's interesting to see how the other people around you react in these sort of situations when the going gets really tough. And I guess it's really only worth doing an event such as around the world race or America's Cup or whatever you might have done to win your prizes if it's hard, and if you think maybe you can't do it. Maybe you're going to have to really push yourself as hard as possible, and even then you may not be good enough. You may not get there for whatever reason. Then it's worth having a go at. If it's easy, why bother? And then I guess we come on to the America's Cup, which is something I'm doing at the present time. Very hard. How can a little country like New Zealand beat the might of France or Japan or Australia or America, taking on the most powerful nation in the world? Well, in the America's Cup there is no second. There is only the person that wins the America's Cup or the country that wins the America's Cup. Those are the only things that will be remembered at the end of the day. Second, at that stage, is nothing. But deep inside, I think, as long as we as a team know that we've given it everything we could, everything, and we'll know, just as you know, if you've been in a running race or going for an exam, you know whether you've given it everything you should have given it, or whether you sort of found it a bit easy or skived off and haven't really done the work and you've won because you know, a fair bit of luck was involved. I think as long as when we go to the America's Cup we've actually given it everything we've got, then we can be satisfied. The win will certainly be the icing on the top.
They're in the Southern Ocean. This is a different world.
My main sport, main lifestyle and everything else that I've done over the last 20 years, what has really stood out is how important the planning, the preparation are, how important the people are right at the start of the event. Get that wrong, you're not going to win. Doesn't matter what happens further on down the track. The attitude of the people taking part, the attitude of my America's Cup crew is just as important as the attitude of the crew on a Whitbread around the world race yacht amongst the icebergs at night in a full screaming gale, and you can't see the bow from the stern, pitch black. The attitude is everything. You've got to want to win. You've got to want to enjoy it. You've got to want to get on with the other guy you're working alongside. There's no point having a crew which isn't united, which isn't harmonious, where people fall out with each other. You've got to be able to get on together. If you do that, with the right plan in place, you're 9/10 of the way there. Attitude is everything. attitude is everything. Think about it. Doesn't matter whether it's yachting, running, climbing, cycling, netball, whatever the case may be, I think it's all the same. So to repeat, I'm sorry I'm not with you tonight. I think the reasons will become evident in the next day or two, and I certainly hope you have a very pleasant rest of the evening, and that awards-wise it all goes extremely well. Thanks.
On the 1st of April 1994, Enza New Zealand crossed the finish line at Ushant Lighthouse 2 days ahead of Lyonnaise to take the Jules Verne Trophy. Her average distance travelled was an incredible 654 kilometres per day. In 74 days, 22 hours and 17 minutes, the biggest racing cat in the world averaged 27 kilometres an hour right around the globe.
Or should we go back and do it again?